Your cutoff made the narcissist gaslight themselves. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. We're so glad you're joining us for another video. If you enjoy what we create, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Your support truly helps our channel and allows us to reach more people with our content. Today, we're going to discuss a fascinating phenomenon that many of you may have experienced: the shift in dynamics when you finally cut a narcissist out of your life. If you've noticed that, once you make that brave decision, the game changes, if not completely ends. Then you're not alone. You're no longer their victim, and that is something to celebrate. In this video, we're going to delve into what happens when you decide to sever ties with a narcissist. We'll explore the concept of self-gaslighting. Yes, you heard me correctly. Self-gaslighting. For those who know you, understand the complexities involved. When you take the courageous step to cut off a narcissist, something interesting occurs. This individual, who has likely caused you so much distress, begins to engage in an ultimate mind game with themselves. The same manipulative tactics they used on you now become a part of their internal dialogue. Let's illustrate this with an analogy. Imagine a stray cat that has been coming to your home for food. As long as you continue to feed it, the cat feels secure and content. However, once you stop providing that food, the cat must go elsewhere in search of scraps. As it finds new sources of food, its new supply, it feels a sense of pride and independence. It may even roam around, making noise as if to affirm its new status. Narcissists operate similarly to that stray cat. When you cut them off, they may not physically meow, but they enter a state of heightened performance. In their minds, they start to quote Shakespeare: to gaslight or not to gaslight? That is the question. They begin to craft elaborate narratives, lying to themselves about the situation. They may deny the reality of why you decided to leave. They might convince themselves that the breakup was your fault, creating a false narrative that absolves them of any responsibility. In their minds, they might even believe that they were the ones the decision to end the relationship. In fact, it was you who took that crucial step for your own well-being. Moreover, they often fail to acknowledge the manipulative tactics they employed throughout your time together. Instead of facing the truth that they orchestrated a reverse discard, secretly preparing for this moment, they choose to live in denial. They might have had a backup plan all along, a back burner supply they were ready to turn to. When you cut ties with a narcissist, you're not simply saying goodbye. You're handing them a mirror. You're saying, look at yourself and reflect on your actions. As you exit their life, you give them a chance to confront their own behavior, something they are often unwilling to do. They begin to reflect on their own behavior. You might find it hard to believe, but yes, they do. Depending on the type of narcissist, they can easily trick themselves into believing their own lies. They will recreate the story, alter the narrative, and stand firmly on these falsehoods because they cannot face the truth. Narcissists often avoid confronting the real truth. They fear exposure and the unraveling of the carefully crafted they have maintained throughout their lives. They don't want the people who have been caught up in their cycle of abuse to see the reality that you now see. They are desperate to prevent others from the empowerment and that comes from cutting ties with them, relocating or moving on to healthier relationships. When you cut them off, it forces them to look back at their past actions, what they did, what they said. However, this does not mean they are willing to accept the truth. Instead, they prefer to twist everything into a tragic comedy, creating a narrative that suits them in their minds. They start to question their own words. Did I really say that? No. I couldn't have said that. This is where the manipulation intensifies. They begin to selectively remember events, choosing only the parts that paint them in a positive light. They may start projecting their own actions and words onto you or others, transforming the reality of the situation. The lying becomes impulsive, and their dramatic tendencies take over. They might ask themselves, was I really that bad, convincing themselves that they aren't the terrible person they have shown themselves to be all along. As a result, they genuinely believe that you are the one who is crazy. They convince themselves that you have hurt them and that you are the problem. This delusion can extend to their children as they try to alienate you from them, portraying you as the villain. They may speak to their new supply in a way that reinforces their narrative, gaslighting themselves because you had the courage to cut them off. Your cutting ties has forced them to confront the fact that they are deeply flawed. They may lack common courtesy, constantly lie, and think they are clever in their deceit. They often find ways to play the field while they are supposed to be committed. They might be absent from home, neglecting their responsibilities as a parent, and failing to prioritize their children's needs or the upkeep of the household. In the aftermath of your decision to leave, they may express sentiments like, "After all I did for you, after everything I sacrificed." But let's be clear, if you are a parent, fulfilling your responsibilities is what you are supposed to do. If you are married, adhering to the commitments of marriage is not an act of sacrifice. It is an expectation. They desire to be treated like kings and queens. They crave praise and admiration like heroes. However, the truth is that much of what they did seemed kind or generous. Everything they did to appear as if they were providing for their family was actually a smoke screen. It was a way to keep you blinded to the secrets and darkness they were hiding, the multiple lives they were living. Many narcissists lead double or even triple lives. Is simply a facade. Now that you have awakened to the reality of this person, now that you see this entity, this creature for what it truly is, everything starts to make sense. You are finally connecting the dots, realizing that what was once confusing is now clear. The deception that once clouded your judgment is lifting, allowing you to see the truth. In this new awareness, the narcissist is determined to gaslight themselves. Since they can no longer manipulate you, they turn inward, convincing themselves of their own distorted narratives. They may start making choices and engaging in behaviors designed to help them forget you. I hope for their sake that it works, but in many cases it doesn't. They might even find someone to replace you, believing that this new supply will fill the void you left behind. This is a futile effort. They are gaslighting themselves, telling themselves they have moved on, only to circle back to you in 6 months, a year, or even 2 years down the road. If they truly believe you needed them, they are deeply mistaken. As someone who thrives, you never truly needed them. In fact, you didn't lose anything significant with this individual. What you lost was a chaotic presence in your life. You lost a person who, despite their temporary charm, was not as valuable as they led you to believe. You were not as useful to them as they had hoped, at least not in a lasting way. You were always paying attention, and you began to notice the many ways in which they fell short. You recognized the severity of their flawed character. You realize that this person does not think as sharply as you do. They do not process information quickly or effectively. Their lack of empathy means they are often oblivious to the things that truly matter. In a relationship or for your children, it's as if they are spiritually and sometimes even physically deaf. They fail to hear what they should hear and are indifferent to issues that should hold great significance. They do not prioritize the important things in life, which results in stagnation. They remain stuck in a cycle of drama and perpetually facing difficulties and challenges. But that's not who you are. You navigate through life using logic, assertiveness, resilience, strength, and wisdom. You possess discernment, seeking and heeding advice from those around you. Most importantly, you have a relationship with God, which guides you in times of uncertainty. And you stood up for yourself. You established clear boundaries, and you learned how to say no. You understood how to show them through your actions, rather than just telling them with words. This is a crucial step in reclaiming your power. Now, however, you may find yourself being labeled as the narcissist. Because you set rules and maintain standards, the narrative shifts suddenly. You're the one who is perceived as mean or unreasonable. You might have spoken to them in a way that seemed intense, and when you left it felt dramatic, almost like a scene from an action movie. Leaving a narcissist often requires creativity. You have to find all sorts of clever ways to dive and ultimately disappear. This is a necessary survival tactic, especially given how deeply they can pull you into their emotional black hole. As you emerge from that dark place, flourishing and finding your wings to soar high, it becomes a problem for them. Your authenticity and healing shine a light on the truth that they have tried to hide for so long. As you heal, it becomes increasingly obvious that the issues were theirs all along. In response, they will do everything in their power to control the narrative, even after you have cut them off. They become desperate, making frantic attempts to maintain their facade, gaslighting themselves into believing they are not the problem. This leads them to repeat their destructive patterns. With new people engaging in the same wash, rinse-repeat cycle, their behavior never truly changes. It just shifts to different targets. Because they are trapped in their own lies, denying the truth and refusing to listen to the people who genuinely care about them. They spiral downward. They surround themselves with individuals who help protect their mask and keep their secrets hidden. These enablers contribute to a false narrative, portraying you as the one who cannot maintain a relationship, as if you are the one who lacks communication skills or mental stability. They want to paint you as the crazy one, the sick one, simply because you sought therapy and took steps to care for yourself. After enduring the darkness of their toxic behavior, this self-gaslighting is what keeps them stuck in their narcissistic cage. They become increasingly entrenched in their own delusions, often becoming more volatile and erratic. It's a cycle that only deepens their issues and can even lead them to become a mad woman over time. What's particularly interesting to examine is how these individuals can go from loving to hating you. Their hatred often emerges when you finally awaken to the monster they truly are. They only develop animosity toward you once you become unmanageable for them. Once you can no longer be manipulated. Your awakening is a threat to their carefully constructed reality. They come to realize that you possess strength, common sense, and intelligence. There was a time when they inundated you with messages saying things like, "I love you, I need you, God sent you to me, and you are an angel." In those moments, they were reaching out to you to fulfill their needs, and you responded without hesitation. You were sending money left and right, rarely questioning their requests. You gave them whatever they asked for, treating their wishes as commands. They thrived on this dynamic, enjoying the power they held when you didn't know how to say no. They relished the way you allowed them to engage in disrespectful, and they loved that you kept opening the door for them, even after they had shown you their true colors. However, once you grew tired of this cycle, everything changed. You reached a breaking point and you know what, I'm cutting this person off for good. I'm done. After trying to leave multiple times, you finally found the resolve to make it happen. You took definitive steps. You filed for divorce, moved out, changed the locks, and embraced a new chapter in your life. You even blocked them, ensuring they couldn't reach you anymore. Now you have created a boundary around yourself. You don't interact with them as you used to because you have made the conscious decision to cut them off completely. In response to your transformation, they will likely gaslight themselves into you thinking are the fake one. They might claim that you have changed, that you have switched up on them. When you begin to heal, you become a significant threat to narcissistic individuals. Your family may look at you with confusion. As you choose to heal and become a different person, you are actively separating your children from the drama and toxicity that once surrounded you. In their distorted reality, they will convince themselves that you think you know it all, or that you feel superior to everyone else. They may label you as high and mighty. But the truth is far from that. This behavior reflects their own breakdown, a meltdown happening in their hearts because you have successfully cut them out of your life. They will try to convince themselves that it is your loss, that you are missing out on something valuable. But the reality is that you brought everything to the table. And then some. You possess the skills and resilience to rebuild your life, to go out and achieve your goals once again. Moreover, the truth is that their tiny hands can no longer reach you. They can't access your emotions or provoke you into reacting, crying, or feeling sad and defeated. Their emotional abuse no longer has any power over you. And that is a significant victory. You have taken back control over your life. And as you continue to heal, you will recognize the strength within you. The more you flourish, the more evident it becomes that their manipulation and toxicity are behind you. Now what they get to witness, if they are even aware of it, is you smiling and thriving. This transformation is precisely why they are engaging in self-gaslighting. They may claim that you have been disrespectful, that you quietly cut them off, or that you neglected and abandoned them. They might say that you have given up, that you weren't genuine, and that they should have never trusted you in the first place. This self-deception stems from the reality that you truly did cut them off. They are in disbelief about your decision. They never anticipated that you would have the courage, strength, or intelligence to make such a bold move. Most importantly, they never thought you would evolve from merely surviving the relationship to genuinely thriving after it. You are reclaiming your power, and it shows. You are glowing differently, moving through life with renewed purpose. With each passing year since the cutoff, you feel stronger and more confident. This newfound strength comes from the realization that they never deserved you. They wasted your time engaged in habitual lying and attempted to orchestrate your downfall, while having nothing of real value themselves to lose. The truth is they never truly loved you. Once you recognize this, you made the decision to cut them out of your life. You resolved not to waste any more of your time. Allow yourself to get caught up emotionally. You declared, "I am done with you." Instead of accepting their role in your departure, they have turned your decision into a drama. In their minds. Imagine it as a reality show titled, "Keeping Up with the Gaslighters." In this twisted series, each episode features them finding new ways to deny their actions while focusing solely on the reactions of their victims. They create drama out of their own misdeeds, attempting to humiliate you by twisting stories and shifting blame. Their mind games are so elaborate that it seems like every victim is for the title of Best Supporting Victim. But here's the irony, my friends. While they are preoccupied with gaslighting themselves, you are busy thriving in your own life. When you cut off the narcissist, they lost their favorite audience. No longer can they feed off your energy or draw applause for their dramatic performances. Instead, they are left to navigate their convoluted narratives without the validation they once received from you. This is why they continue to gaslight themselves. They are trapped in a cycle of lies, lying to themselves, lying to other people, and even lying to new individuals they involve themselves with. They attempt to maintain an image that is far removed from reality, all while you sit in the front row of your own success story. You are moving forward, building a brighter future, while they remain stuck in their toxic patterns. You are on a powerful journey of self-discovery, embracing the process of rewriting your own script, leaving the gaslighting behind. This journey is not just about moving on. It's about reclaiming your identity and recognizing your worth as you continue to grow. The narcissist will inevitably gaslight themselves to such an extent that it will lead to their own downfall. Life has a way of catching up with people, and eventually, they will have to confront the reality of their lies. They will face the consequences of their actions, including the impact on their children, whom they may be damaging. In the process, it will become necessary for them to eat their words. After spreading falsehoods about you, you are demonstrating without even trying that their narrative is not the truth. You are shining bright, and it shows they see your transformation. But to cope with the pain of realizing that you are thriving, they will continue to gaslight themselves. It hurts them too much to accept that you are still moving forward, still full of light, still smiling, and still making yourself and others happy. Let's take a moment to appreciate the absurdity of it all. They are the ones who are trapped in a self-induced fog, while you have successfully cut ties and found your freedom. If they pushed you to make that decision, it speaks volumes about their inability to recognize their own role in the deterioration of the relationship. Continue to shine your light brightly. Thrive while leaving the narcissist in the dark, where they prefer to be where they belong. You are cultivating a life filled with self-love, and by nurturing that love with self-care, you will watch it bloom beautifully. Meanwhile, the narcissist remains stuck in their own tragic cycle, unable to break free from their self-imposed limitations. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. If you enjoyed this discussion and found it helpful, please like, comment, and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Until next time, beautiful people, keep thriving and keep shining. Bye!